Now, there is always, always, always an element of victim shaming, victim blaming, and victim appointing. But sometimes the victim is loaded fully, fully loaded with the new sheep's clothes. Yani, the new brand of sheep's clothes. Iko fresh, inaka minky. It looks just nice and new. That's what they look like. They are actually wolves in sheep's clothes. And unfortunately, it can be so difficult for you to tell apart a person who's acting like a victim, but in essence are actually the villain. And I'm sure in your life, as you've gone around your day, you've always encountered people who are like, hey, but then was it me? Me don't live because you're like, wait a minute, but like they're the ones who started this stuff. How is it that now I'm apologizing to them? So here are 5 signs that you really truly are dealing with a villain, and you are right, and they are not really a victim; they are actually a villain. And before I even get into it, I feel like as a person who's been on the internet for a very long time, our homegrown celebrity Turife, I would like to know in your many interactions in life, because again, yeah, you've been out here for a long time. Have you encountered a situation or a scenario where you're just like, wait, I'm the victim, but like, why are you making it look like I'm not and you are? You're the villain. I'm the victim. Have you ever been in that situation where it's like you now find yourself in a place where you're like, wait a minute, did that just happen?
Yeah, like somebody will do something so horrible to you, and because you're in that journey of I'm going to be the bigger person, I'm going to rise above the noise, but at the same time you also want somebody to validate the fact that but they have been wronged.
Yeah.
Somebody has really wronged you, and sometimes you see these people come to the internet and they tell their side of the story.
Yeah, especially
Story
those.
time, and they tell their side of the story not to shame anyone or to blame anyone, just for somebody to validate them and say, but it's true, they did you dirty over there. And instead of the person who has been accused to take accountability and say sorry, they come up with, actually, let me give you my version of events. And they try to twist the truth. And then now, they're getting sympathy. And you're like, wait, what just happened? I was not shaming you. I was just saying what you did to me. But instead of saying sorry, you decided to do a public no what had actually happened, so yeah, it happens a lot.
It really, really does. And I feel like for me personally, at first especially when you're in a new space, and this is in life in general, when you get into a new space and you're trying to just find your footing in that space, you often find yourself noticing things, but then you're like, I know, maybe it's just me. For example, you notice that one person who's always living in isolation. For whatever reason, they don't have friends. And whenever you talk to them, they will always tell you the same story. No, that guy is really bad. But they don't even tell you nani alinifanyia nini and nani alinifanyia nini. You're like, God, why you always the one being funny with things? When you fanyangi vitu, ama what's happening? What's going on? In church communities, in any community, you will find those people. However, especially in church and in religious spaces, zile mnaendanga kwenda fellowship, you're like, ai, mbona tunaendanga fellowship kwa nyumba moja na tunaendangi fellowship kwa hii nyumba ingine, what's happening? You start hearing stories like that. They always are isolating themselves. They don't have any real friends around them, and they always kind of point out the fact that, no, they're the ones who did me dirty. That is possibly a villain in victim clothing.
And also a person who never takes accountability
ever
for anything. Have you ever met a person, they're always going through something. They're always having a changamoto in their life, and you're like, wait, my friend, what is happening? At some point, you need to stand on business. Even if you're going to write on a piece of paper, business, and then stand on it. But you need to do something with your life. They're always blaming somebody. Oh, I didn't go to school because something happened. I didn't do this because something. And then you're like, if you really wanted to, and you took initiative, and you said to yourself, listen, I'm going to do this for myself, for me, and not give up and do something consistently. If you did it, you would. But it's so easy to blame others.
It really is.
It is.
Shifting blame is like a major issue. And sometimes even when you're shifting blame, ask yourself, am I trying to garner sympathy, or is this really truly because the blame is not on me? Always ask yourself that. And oftentimes people do catch themselves in these acts. And if you do catch yourself, imagine it's okay. You're just as human as the rest of us. If you catch yourself having any of these behaviors, just understand that this is your brain telling you that, look, there's a problem here, let's correct it. You shouldn't now be hiding and trying to now manipulate further and creating more narratives around the fact that no, it's actually not even that. Yes, I know I didn't go to school and therefore da 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 da. But at the same time, did I even tell you how my father left when he said he's gone for a packet of milk? Like, you're always just adding vibes on top of bad vibes. It's always in a manipulative attempt to make the other person give you sympathy, right? It's like, okay, are you okay? And immediately your knee-jerk reaction is like, no, I'm not okay. I actually no. If that is where your go-to is, then guess what? You are probably a villain trying to garner sympathies to look like a victim, when essentially what you should be doing is the complete opposite. Trying to figure out, what are my problems, what are my problem areas, and how should I sort them out? Just that simple.
And it's also very easy to notice kind of people
Yeah.
because they're always seeking compassion from everybody
Pretty
else.
much.
They have a sad story, they have a tragic past life. Maybe they broke their foot when they were 5 years old, but they will carry that
God.
torch. Oh, somebody is 35 years old, like in the first one. When I was 5 years old, I broke my foot and my mother shouted at me. It's always something. But also at the same time, they have no empathy
Yep.
for anybody else. You could be telling them a story like, oh, I'm so sorry, my grandmother died. We actually headed to the funeral.
What's the difference between sympathy and empathy?
Empathy is putting yourself in somebody else's shoe, understanding that they need compassion in that moment. If somebody tells you, listen, I'm running 5 minutes late, I had to drop my kid off, my nanny bailed on me, you have empathy for them, as in you have the grace to extend them maybe like 10 minutes. Then you made like, where you can excuses, kill a time, blah, 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 my time is my money, blah, blah, and I'm out. Why? For what reason? So always putting yourself in somebody else's shoe and understanding that things happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And another one I think, which you'll see a lot, is that there's always, you will see dot and dot and dot, and it will always connect to the same thing. There is constantly a pattern of betrayal, right? Sometimes they have these shifty behaviors that you're just like, wait, apana. For example, when you get close to them, you eventually get your own bad taste. Anyone who's tried to be their friend, anyone who has tried to be their friend, and you try and inquire, but then what happened? They're like, hey, apana, alini fanya such and such. Apana, me, I don't talk about that shorty because, she did something to me that I don't think I can be able to accommodate ever again. And it's always the same story. Yes, they look like, oh my God, no, all my friends did. But whenever you ask their actual friends, and I know some of us really genuinely have bad experiences with some people, but like whenever now you go back to those, because Turi has just mentioned, you're always very quick to give your side of the story. But like whenever we go to the other side of the story, because unfortunately a coin has 3 sides, whenever you go to other side of the story, you realize, oh my God, actually you're the perpetrator. You're the problem. Like you did this and this and this and this and this, and their reaction was one, and then you took this reaction and you made it the gospel truth. Like, you had been very manipulative to them. You had been maybe refusing to give them an example of a relationship, like you're in a relationship with someone, and especially friendships, you're in a friendship with someone, and every time your friend comes through, you're always like, hey, but then bono me vibe yo, or hey, but then your hair, I don't like it, or just an accumulation of them, putting you down. Hey, your arms, hey, your legs. Me, I never forget, a friend of mine told me he had chicken legs in high school. Do you know what chicken legs are? I'm not even going to talk about it. I'm not going to talk about it. Like, I have skinny legs. That's not right. And it obviously affected me over time. Well, now my legs are fine as hell. But my point is, it did affect me then. And it's just those accumulations of those tiny little things that they would say that over time they accumulate, and you're just like, I know me, imagine I can't deal with you. But what they see is that one last thing that they told you, right? They probably told you, why are you eating that much? And you're like, babe, what is happening? And suddenly you're like, you know what, I can't do this anymore. I really genuinely can't deal with your energy anymore. Now the perpetrator will always be like, me, I just told her she was eating too much that one day. But
and then she told me,
and then she told me we're done. Hey, she broke up with me. Our relationship ended there. But you haven't heard all the other backstories. So again, there's always a pattern of betrayal with this particular person. So be careful whenever you see these kinds of things happening.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean they can't change. Just means you have to be either one, a lot more patient with them for them to actually get to a point of change, or two, you just need to find better friends. Like you don't always have to go and fix a wounded bird all the time. Connie, who are you? Hey,
Who are you? Whomst are you?
hi.
Anyway, I cannot wait for this week to end because next week is my birthday. I am so old, guys. But anyway.
She's all 12 years old. Y'all, in case you don't know, the 4th of December. 4th of December.
Happy birthday.
4th of December is Trudy's birthday.
Avail my mobile money number. Okay? Send me your gifts.
You'll start a
Support my talent.
a fundraiser account.
Exactly.
Anyway, that's been our show. We hope that we've made an impact in your life today and on many other days. And until next week, same time, same place. Oh, next week. Woo,
Guy,
girl.
no. Today is
Woo,
Thursday. You're making us an
Until
early.
tomorrow.
Until tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.